Ladies and gentlemen, in Urdu language, a shape of the letter of Urdu alphabet changes depending upon its position in the word. So if a letter appears at the beginning of the word, then we write it a little differently than when it appears in the middle of the word. And when it appears at the end of the word, then we write that character or letter differently. In today's ifactner Learn to Write in Urdu Language video tutorial, we will learn the different shapes of first 6 letters, which are Alif, Be, Pe, Te, Te and Se, in their initial position, middle position and final position shapes. Let's start our ifactners learning video tutorial. So ladies and gentlemen, the first letter of Urdu alphabet is Alif, and in its independent position we write it like this. Now when Alif appears at the beginning of the sentence, then we write it just like its independent position. For example, Alif Be is Ab. Ab means now. When Alif appears in the middle of the word, then we use this connector to connect it to the previous character and then write a straight line for Alif. So it should be this connector and then a straight line for Alif. Let's take a very simple word, Ba. So we will see how do we write Be or Ba, Be in the next few minutes, but right now just concentrate on Alif. So I write Be and then Alif. So it's just written like we have to add this connector and then Alif. And when Alif appears at the end of the word, then its shape is similar to its middle position shape. For example, we have the word Ba. Baba means an old man or papa. So let's see how do we write it. Be Alif Ba and Be Alif Ba. So it's Baba. Now let's move forward towards the second character of Urdu alphabet, which is Be. An important thing to note, and it's a good news, that Be, Pe, Te, Te and Se, we write them in their initial positions, in their middle positions and in their final positions in the same way. So if you learn how to write Be, then you will be able to write Pe, Te, Te and Se. That is, you will be able to join Be, Pe, Te, Te, Se very easily. So let's continue. The next letter is Be. Be. And let's see how do we write Be. So we know that the independent position shape, that is when it appears independently in the Urdu alphabet, then we write it like this. But when Be appears at the beginning of the word, then we write it like this. So you just take the first half of Be and put a dot under it and you get yourself Be. For example, In the previous row, we wrote a letter Baba. So just now see that I write this Be and then I write Alif for Baba. Be Alif, Be Alif, Baba. So you just write the first half of or the first part of Be and put a dot under it when it appears at the beginning of the word. Now let's see, when Be appears in the middle, then we need to add two connections or two extensions. This is the first extension, this is the second extension. So one word will appear over here and another character will appear over here. So when Be appears in the middle of the word, then you need to write it like this. Let's take a very simple example. Uh, right now, these words which I am writing, most of them will not make any sense, but I'm just telling you how do they write. How can we write? So let's suppose we write Baba. So I write first part of Be, then the second part. This is the first part, and then the second part, and then Alif. So I have written two Be's over here. Let me write it down one more time. This is the first part. Then we take the second part, which is, and then we connect it to Alif. So when Be appears at the middle of the word, so you see that we use this shape to write Be. Now let's see when Be appears at the end of the word. So when it is connected to another word, then we write it like this. Or if it's not connected to any word, for example Alif of Dal or Wow, then we write it like this. So let's suppose that it is connected to the previous word, and the word is Tab. Te and Be, Tab. So I write first, this is the Te part, and now let's see how do we write Be. So I make an extension and then write Be. So we write it like this. Tab. Now if you have learned how to write Be, then it will be very easy for you to write Pe, Te and Se, because they are connected in the same way and they are written in the same way in their initial position, middle position and final positions. Now the next letter is Pe. Let's see how do we write Pe. Pe is just written like Be but with 3 dots under it. Now the initial position shape of Pe is similar to Be. You just take the first part and write Pe like this. For example, we want to write Pa. So I write Pe Alif, Pe Alif. Pa. Papa is an English word which means Baba or father in Urdu. Now when Pe appears in the middle of the word, then just like Be, we need to use the connector and then the Pe, and then there is another connector after Pe. So let's see, we just write a simple word Bip. So we write Be and then we write Bippa or Bippu. Let me write Bippa, Be, Pe, and then we write Alif. Bippa. So we write it like this: Be, Pe, Alif. So we don't put or pull out our pen, but to show you that how these letters are connected, I use different colors. So Bippa is written like this. Now when Pe appears at the end of the word and it is connected to the second last character, then we use this connector and then the whole Pe. For example, we have a word Tap. Tap means if something is heated. Tapna, tap. Let's write tap, te, and then Pe. Let me write one more time. This is part te part, and then this is the Pe part. Tap. Let's move forward to te. Just like Be and Pe, te is also written in the same way. So these characters are almost similar to each other. You just need to take care of the dots. So te in te. Te is a dental sound character. The tip of your teeth should be touching the top of your upper teeth. So to pronounce te. To write, let's suppose tap, just like in the previous example, we take the first part of te and then we can write Pe. 2 dots on te and 3 dots under Pe. Tap. Now when te appears in the middle of the word, then you need to use this connector and then this part of te and then a little extension. So let's see, we want to say but. Be, pesh, te, but. So we write be and then we write te. But means idle, and there is a pesh on be. Be, pesh, te, but. And for tap, this is te zabar pe tap. So remember that diacritics are very important to pronounce the Urdu words in the correct manner. So if you are interested in knowing the diacritics, then I will leave a link in the description of my previous tutorial in which we have discussed about diacritics. And now when te appears at the end of the word, just like be and be and pe, then we write it like this. So you need a connector and then te. So here we need this connector, and this was the last position shape of pe. Let me revise one more time, because here we should write it in the middle position shape. So for example, there is a word batana. Batana means to tell. Let's see, how do we write batana? We write be and then we write te and then alif and then noon alif, and noon is also connected in the same way as be, pe, te, se. So I write just like this. So batana is written like this. So you see, how do we write te in the middle? here, batana. And the next example is but for the last position shape of te. So we write be and then this extension for te and te, but, be ze, be pesh te, but. Similarly, we write te and se in the same manner as be, pe and te. So te is written like this in its independent shape. Now te is a retroflexive sound character. You have to roll your tongue to pronounce te. Now let's write, you take just this first part and put this special character on top. Let's suppose we want to write a tub. Tub has been imported from English and it means tub. Now you write te and be, tub, te, and if you want to use the diacritic, then there is a zabar on top of te, te zabar be, tub. The next shape of te is this connector and then the little part of te. Let's suppose we want to write batta. Batta it is not an Urdu word, but let's write it down. So I write be like this and then te and in the end alif, batta. So beta is a word, but we need to use choti ye for that or ye for that. Now let's see how do we write batta again. Be, te, alif. So it's be, te, alif, batta. Now when te appears at the end of the word, then we use this connector and the whole te. For example, but, be, te, but is a cast, but. Now let's move to the last character and that is se. Se is just written like be, pe, te, te. So when it appears at the beginning of the word, you just take the first part and put 3 dots on top. So there is a word called summer. Say, and you don't need to remember what how I going to write summer but meme and ray, but just concentrate of say. Then there is a meme and then we have ray. Summer means fruit. Say, zabar, meme, ray, summer. And just like bepe tete, when say appears in the middle of the word, then we write it like this. So let me write bassa, which doesn't mean anything, but just to tell you, if it appears in the middle of the word, then how do we write it? Be, se, alif, bassa. And when se appears at the end of the word, then we write it like this. For example, bus. And it doesn't mean anything in Urdu. A be and seen, bus means enough, but be and say is nothing. But let's write it down. So we write say at the end of the character like this, and the independent position shape of say is like this. So ladies and gentlemen, in today's video tutorial you have learned just 2 things. One is how to conjugate alif, and the second thing is how to conjugate be, pe, te, se. How to write be, pe, te, se when they appear at the beginning of the word, at the middle of the word, and at the end of the word. Thank you very much for joining me. I will see you in the next tutorial. Please like, share and subscribe.